The rhythmic ticking of the grandfather clock in our living room felt like a countdown. Jasmine sat across from her friend Sarah on our plush velvet sofa, sipping white wine. They didn't know I had just come home early from the firm, standing quietly in the shadows of the hallway. "You've been married 3 years and you're still dodging kids," Sarah said, swirling her glass. Jasmine laughed, a cold, dry sound that sent a chill down my spine. "I'm not dodging, Sarah. I'm preventing a mistake." "You don't mean it. Michael is stable, he provides." "Exactly," Jasmine countered sharply. "He's predictable, boring. That's not what I want long term." "Then why marry him?" "Because he is financially useful," Jasmine replied, her voice dropping into a chillingly casual tone. "I'm not tying myself down with his genes. I'm not doing that to my kids." I leaned against the wall, my breath hitching in my throat. Financially useful. 3 years of love, late nights, and building a life together, reduced to a corporate transaction. "For how long will you keep taking those pills behind his back?" Sarah asked, her voice laced with a mix of judgment and curiosity. "As long as I have to." "That's messed up, Jasmine." "No," Jasmine snapped, her tone hardening. "What's messed up is being stuck for life with the wrong man. And the right man, well, you will soon find out." I quietly stepped backward, slipped out the front door, and closed it without a sound. The fresh air hit my face, but it didn't stop the suffocating heat burning in my chest. An hour later, after pretending I just got home, I waited for Jasmine to go to the gym. The moment her car pulled out of the driveway, I rushed to the master bathroom. I searched every drawer, every hidden compartment. And there, hidden inside a hollowed-out designer lotion bottle, was the medical birth control slip and a hidden stash of pills. I held the foil pack in my trembling hand. So, this is why she isn't conceiving. But as I stared at the clinical blue packets, a darker thought hit me. If she was taking these behind my back while telling me she wanted a family, what else was she hiding? "I don't need guesses, Marcus. I want facts," I said, sliding a thick envelope of cash across the desk in a dimly lit office downtown. Marcus, a seasoned private investigator with cold, analytical eyes, pulled the money closer. "That's what you're paying for. We'll start with her. Where she goes, who she sees." "You think she's cheating?" I asked, the word tasting like ash in my mouth. "I think she's planning something bigger than an affair," Marcus replied. 3 days later, Marcus called me back to his office. He didn't say a word. He just tossed a thick manila folder onto the desk. I opened it. The first page was a photograph of Jasmine laughing in a high-end restaurant, her hand resting on the arm of a younger man with slicked back hair and a flashy jacket. "His name's been popping up with her. Johnny Cole, 27. No steady job, high-stakes gambler," Marcus explained. "Is that the worst part?" I asked, seeing the grim look on Marcus's face. "No," Marcus sighed, leaning forward. "She's been moving money too. How?" "Our joint accounts require dual signatures for major withdrawals. Small transfers," Marcus said, pointing at a bank ledger in the file. "Disguised as business expenses for her boutique, cash withdrawals just under the reporting limits, then deposits directly into his account." "What bank?" "Under his name. A different branch every time. She's being smart about it." My eyes scanned the column of numbers, my heart freezing solid with every line. "How much are we looking at, Marcus?" "Just over $1 million in the last 8 months, Marcus said quietly. "Michael, they've been planning to leave. Where?" "We don't know yet, but we'll soon figure it out." "We need to find out fast," I said, closing the folder. The pain was gone now, replaced by a cold, calculating rage. She didn't just want her freedom, she wanted to bleed me dry on her way out. Johnny Cole's apartment smelled of cheap cologne and expensive cigars. When he answered the door, the smug grin on his face vanished the moment he saw the 2 large security guards standing behind me. "Johnny," I said, walking past him into his living room without an invitation. "Nice place. Paid for with my money, I assume." Johnny swallowed hard, backing away toward his kitchen counter. "Look, man, I didn't know you'd find out like this." "Cut the crap," I interrupted, sitting down on his leather sofa. "You knew she was married. I didn't think. Don't do that." "Don't play the victim," I said, my voice dangerously calm. "I'm not here to fight you for her. You want her, you can have her. But here's what's going to happen." Johnny blinked, confused. "What? You don't tell her, I know." "Not a word," I instructed, leaning forward. "Do this, and you get to keep a small fraction of the money she transferred to you. A finder's fee for taking a parasite off my hands. But as soon as you get that cut, I want you to disappear without a trace." Johnny looked at the ledger I threw on the table, then looked back at me. "The loyalty of a thief is a fragile thing." "I understand," Johnny whispered, his greed winning instantly. "You'll never see me again." That night, I sat at the kitchen island of my home. Jasmine walked in, wearing a silk dress, looking radiant. "Hey babe, how was work?" she asked, kissing my cheek. Her touch felt like venom. "Busy," I replied, keeping my face blank. "You look tired. You want me to make you something?" "I'm good," I said, staring at her. "You've been working too hard lately." Jasmine smiled, adjusting her designer watch. "Someone has to." "You don't have to," I said, testing her one last time. I am content with what you are providing, my love. I know, Michael, she said, her voice dripping with sweet, unadulterated poison. And I appreciate it. She walked away into the bedroom, completely unaware that the ground beneath her feet had already turned to dust. The click of Marcus's voice on my secure line came at exactly 8 p.m. the following week. They're leaving tonight, Michael. Terminal B, LAX. Flight leaves at 10:40 p.m. to Lisbon, Portugal, Marcus reported. And the money? Johnny wired it all back into your secure corporate account in small increments over the last 3 days to avoid flagging the system. It's all there. Good, I said, watching the live balance on my laptop screen refresh. The $2 million she had stolen was sitting safely back in my custody. So, we're done, Marcus confirmed, hanging up. At LAX Terminal B, Johnny stood near the departures gate, checking his phone nervously. He had a backpack and a single carry-on. A text flashed on his screen from an unknown number. Transfer complete. Your cut is locked. Disappear. Johnny smirked, deleted the message, and pulled out a completely new burner phone. He didn't wait for Jasmine. He checked into his business class seat to a completely different destination, leaving her behind without a second thought. At 9:45 p.m., Jasmine arrived at Terminal B, pulling 2 massive designer suitcases. She looked around the crowded terminal, her eyes scanning the faces of the passengers. Finally, she whispered to herself, a triumphant smile on her lips. I am finally free from Michael. She pulled out her phone and dialed Johnny. It went straight to voicemail. Come on, pick up, she muttered, her smile faltering. She waited 10 minutes and tried again, voicemail. Panic, small and sharp, began to creep into her chest. She walked near the main entrance, her eyes darting everywhere. She typed a frantic text. Hey, it's Jasmine. I'm outside Terminal B. Please call me back. Still nothing. The minutes ticked away toward boarding time. Why is he not picking up? Come on, answer the phone, she pleaded to the empty air. Her heart began to beat erratically. It was getting late. The glamorous escape she had spent 8 months planning was turning into a nightmare in the middle of a cold, fluorescent terminal. Desperate and trembling, Jasmine dragged her suitcases to the nearest airport cafe, her mind racing. Did he get stuck in traffic? Did the police catch him? She needed to buy a bottle of water just to calm her breathing. She handed her premium platinum card to the cashier. Clink. I'm sorry, ma'am. It's declined, the cashier said, handing it back. Jasmine frowned, her upper-class pride flaring up. That's impossible. Try it again. The cashier swiped it a second time. Still declining, ma'am. Do you have another form of payment? Jasmine pulled out her phone and opened her banking app. A massive red banner flashed across the top of the screen. Account restricted. Her breath caught. She frantically called the bank's emergency line, her voice cracking with terror. Yes, my card keeps declining. Let me check my account balance. Your account has been restricted, miss. Jasmine, the robotic but polite voice of the bank representative, replied. Restricted? How? There is an active fraud investigation flag on this account. The large transfers made over the last 8 months have been officially reversed due to unauthorized corporate embezzlement reports. Reversed? Jasmine screamed, drawing stares from people in the cafe. This can't be happening. That's my money. I'm sorry, ma'am. It is standard legal procedure during a criminal asset tracking investigation. The funds have been returned to the primary holder. The phone slipped from Jasmine's hand, clattering onto the tiled floor. The reality hit her like a physical blow. Johnny was gone. The money was gone. Her marriage was over. She was standing in the middle of an airport with 2 bags of expensive clothes and absolutely nothing else to her name. What have I got myself into, she whispered, tears cutting through her expensive foundation. No money, no man, nowhere to go. 2 days later, the front door of my house opened. Jasmine stood on the porch. She wasn't the proud, untouchable woman from the boutique anymore. Her clothes were wrinkled, her eyes hollow, her spirit completely broken. I stood at the door, blocking the entrance. Michael, please, she wept, her hands clasped together. What do you want, Jasmine? I asked, my voice as cold as ice. I made a mistake. A horrible mistake, she sobbed. You didn't make a mistake, Jasmine, I corrected her, looking down at her with total indifference. You made a plan. It just failed. I can fix this, she begged, reaching out to touch my shoes. Can we just start over? Pretend like all of this never happened? I'll be the wife you want, I swear. I took a half step back, out of her reach. No, I am not the safety net you build with when your first plan fails. I am born again now. To forgive is divine, Michael. To err is human, she cried, using every manipulation she had left. Then let the divine forgive you, I said softly, grabbing the edge of the heavy oak door. Because I'm just a man. Please leave my house. I closed the door firmly, turning the deadbolt with a clean, heavy click. The lock was final. Behind it, my life was secure. Outside it, the storm had finally taken what belonged to it.